The widow's plea. The sky above the alien planet was dark, like a storm was always waiting. Black clouds moved slowly across the red sun, making the land below look even more dead. Rocks, dust, and broken machines lay everywhere. The planet looked like it had once seen war and lost. A small human spaceship crashed just an hour ago. Smoke still rose from inside. The pilot, Commander Ellis, stood outside, checking damage on the engine. His uniform was ripped, and his face had a fresh cut. But he was calm. He was trained for this. He looked around the strange, empty landscape. No signals, no buildings, no life. He muttered, then he heard something. A sound, very soft, not the wind, not the ship, a voice. Human. Ellis turned sharply, hand on his sidearm. He squinted at the horizon. Nothing, just rocks and broken metal. Then again. Please, human. A shadow moved behind a broken tower. Ellis stepped forward slowly. He didn't want to shoot, but he wouldn't hesitate. Out from behind the ruins stepped a tall, thin creature, female. Gray-purple skin, eyes glowing faintly, and long arms held up in surrender. Behind her, two small alien children peeked out, hiding behind her legs. Ellis raised his weapon. Stop. Who are you? The alien female raised her hands higher. Her voice was weak, like she hadn't eaten in days. My name, Thera. I mean no harm. My children. They are starving. She pointed at the small ones. They looked frightened, their bones almost showing through their skin. Ellis didn't lower his gun. Why are you following me? I saw your ship fall. I hoped you had food, anything. Ellis stared at her. She wasn't lying. Her voice shook. Her eyes were wet. He reached into his pack and slowly tossed a small food bar toward her feet. Give that to the kids. First, Thera picked it up carefully and split it. Her hands moved fast, like she was used to hiding and rushing. The children took it and ate like they hadn't eaten in days. Maybe weeks. Thera didn't touch any of it. Ellis finally lowered his weapon. You're not the first to find me after a crash, but you're the first who didn't try to steal. Thera looked up. I will not steal. I will not fight. I only ask for help. Ellis looked at the sky. His ship would take time to repair. Maybe a day, maybe more. He didn't like staying here long, but something about Thera felt off. She wasn't just a scared mother. He walked closer. Where is everyone else on this planet? Why are you alone? Thera looked down. Her voice dropped to a whisper. They're gone. Or worse. Ellis frowned. Worse? She looked into his eyes. They were taken. Some killed. Some joined them. Who? The hunters. The name didn't sound good. Ellis felt a chill, even though the air was hot. Why would they attack? Their own people? Thera shook her head. Power, control, lies. My husband tried to stop them. He was silenced. She stopped speaking. Her hands trembled. Ellis sat on a broken metal block. His mind was racing. You said you'd do anything. For food, he said. Why? Thera looked away. Because I'm a mother. Because I failed. Because I'm desperate. Ellis studied her face. Her eyes didn't blink much. Her mouth was dry. She was telling the truth. Or at least part of it. I can give you more food. Enough for a few days, Ellis said. But I want something in return. Thera straightened. Anything. You're going to tell me the truth. All of it. What happened here. And why someone like you, smart, skilled, clearly trained, is now hiding like a beggar. Thera froze. She opened her mouth, then stopped. Ellis stood up. I won't force you. But if you want more help, I need answers. A long silence followed. Finally, she spoke. If I tell you the truth, they'll come for me. Let them come, Ellis said, checking his weapon. I don't scare easy. Thera looked at her children. Then back at him. Follow me. There is something. I must show you. Ellis hesitated, then nodded Dot as they walked toward the ruins. A pair of red eyes watched them from the shadows. Unseen, the hunters were already near. Asterisk. The deal. Asterisk. The path through the ruins was silent. Too silent. Commander Ellis followed. Thera, one hand near his weapon, the other gripping a ration bag. Her two children walked close to her legs, their little feet silent against the ash-covered ground. What exactly are we walking into? Ellis asked, eyes scanning every shadow. Thera didn't look back, a place I hoped never to return to. Ellis didn't like riddles, and he really didn't like walking into unknown danger for someone he just met 20 minutes ago. But he was curious. Too curious. They moved into a narrow tunnel formed by collapsed steel beams. Strange symbols glowed faintly on the walls. Not just alien, but familiar? Ellis narrowed his eyes. Earth markings. Military code. Hold on, he said. This is human tech. Thera finally turned. Yes, your people were here, long before you crashed. Ellis's heart pounded. That's not possible. This planet isn't even charted in Earth systems. Thera looked straight into his eyes. That's what they wanted you to believe. They reached a chamber. A metal door blocked the way, old and rusted. Thera placed her hand on a glowing pad. It lit up, scanned her, and clicked open. Inside, the air was thick and still. Shelves lined the walls, full of broken tools and dust-covered files. But at the center of the room, on a pedestal, was something very wrong. A cube, smooth, silver, floating and humming. Ellis's breath caught. That's impossible. He stepped forward, hands shaking. He had seen this once, in training. A black level. Prototype. Top secret. Project Genesis. A device that could reshape entire planets, or erase them. What is this doing here? He asked, voice low. Thera's voice was calm, but heavy. Stolen. Hidden. Used. Ellis turned to her. By who? Thera didn't speak. Instead, a sound buzzed from the back of the room. Ellis spun around, gun up. A hidden screen lit up, and a video began to play. It was old. Grainy. A man in an Earth uniform looked into the camera. Commander Ellis. A younger version of himself. If you're watching this, the video, Ellis said. Then the memory block. Failed, and you found the truth. Real Ellis stepped back, nearly dropping his gun. What the hell is this? Thera said nothing. She just watched. The video continued. We planted Genesis here. We made a deal with the rebel faction on this planet, promised them power, technology, control. In return, they let us test the device. The recording glitched, but things went wrong. They used it on their own people. We tried to clean it up. I stayed behind. And when I saw what I had done, static. End of video. Ellis stared at the blank screen. He felt like the air had been punched out of him. I don't remember any of this, he whispered. Thara spoke softly. They wiped your mind. The hunters. They wanted no one to know. Ellis turned to her. How do you know all this? She stepped closer. Because I was there. I helped them. Silence. You helped the hunters? Ellis growled. I didn't know what they planned, she said. They said the device would save us. Heal the land, end war. My husband believed them too. Until he tried to stop them. They killed him. Ellis's grip tightened on his gun. So now what? You want me to help you? After all this? Thara's eyes burned with pain, but no fear. No. I want to make it right. You still have a ship. You still have a choice." She stepped aside and pointed to the cube. "The hunters will come for this. They know you're here. If they get it back, the next planet they destroy could be yours." Ellis looked at the Genesis cube, then at the kids, then at Thara. Too many lies. Too many questions, but only one deal to make. "You help me destroy this," he said, "and I get you and your kids off this rock." Thara blinked. "You would still help me?" "I don't like liars," Ellis said, "but I hate murderers more." Just then, a sharp beep echoed from Ellis's comm device. Unknown life forms approaching. 200 meters. Armed. Ellis swore. "They're here." Thara grabbed her children. "We need to go. Now." Ellis turned to the cube. "We can't let them take it." He pointed his blaster at the Genesis cube, but stopped. His hands trembled. Destroy it now, or use it to fight back? The hunters were coming, and the planet was about to burn. Again, the artifact. The planet wasn't quiet anymore. The ground trembled softly, like footsteps, heavy ones. Getting closer, Commander Ellis stood frozen. His blaster pointed at the Genesis. Cube, finger twitching. One wrong move, and this whole room could vanish. Him with it, Dot behind him. Thara clutched her two children. Her eyes weren't on the tube. They were on the tunnel, listening. "They're coming," she whispered. "They never stop once they catch your scent." Ellis backed away from the cube. "We need to move." Thara nodded. She grabbed something from the wall, a rusted metal case, long and flat, and led him into a side passage. Ellis followed, but his eyes flicked back at the cube. What he really wanted was to take it with him. The passage was dark and wet. Pipes ran along the ceiling. Strange fungus glowed faintly, lighting their path in blue. They moved fast. Ellis kept his weapon ready. He still didn't fully trust Thara. She had worked with the hunters once. People didn't just accidentally help evil armies build world-ending weapons. But now, she looked more like a survivor than a traitor. Tired, angry, dangerous, and she had secrets. He could feel it. They reached a massive door deep underground. Unlike the last one, this one was newer, cleaner. Locked tight, Thara placed her hand on a panel. Nothing happened. She frowned. They changed the access code. Ellis raised an eyebrow. "That's bad news. You got a plan B?" Thara looked around, then picked up a metal rod and slammed it into a control box nearby. Sparks flew. The door groaned, then slowly creaked open. Inside was a massive vault. Computers, screens, pods, tubes, and at the center, the artifact. Not the Genesis cube. Something else. A large device shaped like a circle, floating in midair, rotating silently. Energy swirled inside it like a storm. Ellis stepped closer, eyes wide. "What is that?" Thara walked past him. This was their backup plan. If Genesis failed, this would finish the job. "What does it do?" She looked at him. "It creates soldiers." Ellis blinked. "What?" "Artificial life. Built from memories, flesh and machine. Loyal, strong, and fast. They were testing it when the war started." "And it works?" Thara hesitated. Then she walked to one of the side pods. She wiped off the dust from the glass. Inside was a figure. Tall, human-shaped, but its skin was pale silver. Its eyes were shut, but glowing faintly under the lids. Ellis stepped closer and stopped. It was him. "What the hell is this?" He whispered. "It's your copy," Thara said quietly. "They made it using your DNA from when you stayed here." Ellis backed away. "They made a weapon out of me?" Thara nodded. "You weren't just a soldier. You were the blueprint." Ellis's heart pounded. His face was cold. He wanted to destroy the pod right now. Burn it. Erase it. But his hand wouldn't move. This thing was him, and it wasn't sleeping. It was waiting. Then, alert. Intruders detected. The voice boomed through the vault. Red lights flashed. Sirens howled. Ellis turned to Thera. You led them here. Her eyes widened. No, I swear. Boom. The door behind them exploded. 3 tall figures stepped in. Black armor. Glowing red visors. Weapons drawn. The hunters. Ellis fired first. One went down. The others split up, moving with unnatural speed. Thera pushed her kids behind a console. She grabbed a gun from the wall and returned fire. She didn't miss. Ellis rolled behind a console. Any bright ideas? Thera shouted. If we overload the artifact, it'll send an EMP blast. It'll knock everything out, including them, including your precious vault. She looked at him, face fierce. Let it burn. Ellis fired another shot, then ran to the artifact. He slammed his hand on the controls. Tell me what to do. Red lever. Then the code, X9 beta. He pulled it. The artifact began to glow. Loudly, the air cracked like lightning. The walls shook. The hunters noticed. One charged forward. Too late. Boo! A wave of white light exploded from the artifact. It shattered every screen. Fried the pod. Threw the hunters backward like toys. Silence. Ellis blinked. His ears rang. The artifact was gone. The vault was wrecked. And the 3 hunters? Dead. Burnt. Cracked like glass. Ellis looked at Thera. She looked satisfied. But just as they caught their breath, Thera's daughter tugged her arm. Mom, he's awake. They turned. Inside the broken pod. Ellis's clone, one eye open, staring at him. Smiling. Run or fight? Smoke filled the vault. Lights flickered. Something was sparking on the ceiling, like it was trying to catch fire, but hadn't made up its mind yet. Commander. Ellis coughed and waved away the smoke. He saw it. The clone, his clone, still inside the broken pod. Sitting up. Calm. Not confused. Not scared. Smiling. Thera, Ellis said without looking away. Why is it smiling? Thera pulled her kids behind her. Because it's not human. It knows everything you know, but it feels nothing. The clone stood. Same face, same body, same eyes, but something wrong. No warmth, no confusion, just pure, calculating cold. It looked at Ellis and said, You've made a mess, Commander. Ellis raised his weapon. You're not real. The clone tilted its head. I'm what you were meant to be. It stepped down from the pod. No shoes, no armor. Just confidence. Ellis fired. The shot hit its shoulder. The clone didn't flinch. It looked at the hole in its arm, then smiled wider. Cute, it said. Then it charged. Ellis jumped back, rolled across the floor, and fired again. 2 more shots. One missed. The other hit center mass. Still didn't stop him. The clone moved like a shadow on steroids. Fast, smooth, deadly. It grabbed Ellis's arm, twisted it, and slammed him against the wall. Ellis groaned. Okay, yeah, stronger than me. Got it. Thera screamed, fired her own weapon. 1 shot hit the clone's leg. It stumbled, growled, then ran toward her. Ellis pulled a shock grenade from his belt and slammed it into the clone's back. The blast sent them both flying. The clone hit a wall and slid down. Twitching. Ellis hit the floor. Hard. Everything went black for 2 seconds. When his vision came back, Thera was dragging him up. Can you walk? Not elegantly, he said, but I'll pretend. She helped him up. We can't kill it. Not like this. Ellis looked at the twitching clone. It was already healing. Fast. We run, Thera said. He nodded. Run now. Fight later. They sprinted through the tunnels. Thera's children followed close, barely making a sound. Alarms were still going. Something deep underground was reacting to the EMP blast, and not in a good way. Ellis tapped his communicator. Ship AI, come in. A crackled voice responded. Connection unstable. Coordinates received. Shuttle en route. ETA, 22 minutes. Ellis swore. Too long. Ben, rumbling. Not footsteps this time. A quake. Thera looked back. The vault is collapsing. That wasn't just a lab. That was a bunker. The artifact powered half the city ruins. You broke the plug. I do that sometimes. Ellis muttered. Suddenly. A scream. One of the kids tripped, fell. Before Thera could reach him, something flew through the air. A metal shard. Fast. Deadly. Ellis jumped. Grabbed the child mid-air. Rolled. The shard hit the wall behind them and exploded. He didn't even look. Gotcha, little guy. Thera ran over. Thank you. Ellis stood. Don't thank me. We're still in hell. Then, behind them, footsteps. Heavy, but controlled. Ellis turned. The clone was walking again. One arm damaged. Face burned, but walking and smiling. You can't run forever, Commander, it said, but I can. Thera whispered. We're not going to make it. Ellis looked around, then spotted it. A drop shaft. Old alien tech. Looked unstable. Looked deadly. Perfect. Everyone in. They jumped in. Ellis hit a button. The shaft lit up, then dropped them straight down. They landed hard. A forgotten underground tunnel. Water dripping. Old wires. Alien graffiti. Ellis limped to a broken screen. Wiped the dust. It lit up. He saw something. The clone, still coming, tracking them. Ellis turned to Thera. I need to know now. What else are you hiding? Thera looked away. Nothing. Don't lie to me. Her daughter tugged her sleeve. Mom, tell him. Ellis froze. Tell me what? Thera whispered. We didn't just help build the artifact. We helped build the clone, using more than your data. Ellis frowned. What does that mean? Thera looked him in the eyes. It's part of me too. Ellis took a step back. The clone wasn't just him. It was them both. Two minds. Two voices. Two sets of memories. A perfect hybrid weapon. And now it was hunting its creators. Ellis breathed in, steady and slow. Change of plan. Thera blinked. What? We don't run anymore. Ellis looked at the broken wiring, the water, the power surges. A trap was forming in his mind. We fight. Thera's truth. The tunnel lights were flickering now, like the planet itself was holding its breath. Commander Ellis stood in silence. His weapon hung by his side. His mind raced. Across from him, Thera stared at the floor. Her face said everything. Fear, guilt, and something worse. Shame. You're going to repeat what I think you just said. Ellis said calmly, though his voice carried the sharp edge of a man standing on a cliff with no parachute. Thera looked up. The clone is part of me. Ellis took a slow breath. You mean you added your data to it? Thera hesitated. No. I mean, I added my mind, my memories, my voice, my instincts. She stepped closer. The clone isn't just a copy of you. It's U.S., built to lead the new world after the Hunters won. That was the plan. A perfect leader, with your strength and logic, and my knowledge. Ellis felt cold all over. Why? Why would you ever agree to that? Thera's voice shook. Because I believed them. I thought we were building peace, a new beginning. I didn't know they would use it to kill billions. You didn't know? Or you didn't want to know? Her eyes welled up, but she didn't. Deny it. Suddenly, the child, her daughter, spoke up, quietly. It talks to me sometimes, the clone, in my dreams. Ellis's eyes went wide. Excuse me? Thara grabbed her daughter gently. She's not lying. The clone is linked. To us, the artifact network may be gone, but the bond still exists. Bioechoes, neural shadows. Ellis didn't understand all the words, but he understood one thing. They were all connected, and the clone was using it. Listening, watching, waiting, asterisk. A beep echoed through the tunnel. Ellis looked down at his communicator. Shuttle arrival. 7 minutes. 2. Far. Too long. He turned back to Thara. If we don't stop it now, it'll follow us to Earth. It'll find a way off this planet. Thara nodded. Then we stop it here. Ellis stepped forward. How do I kill something that's me, and you, and possibly psychic? Thara bit her lip. There's one way. Asterisk. She reached into her coat and pulled out a small black device, round, silver ring on top. It glowed red in the center. This is a neural breaker. If I activate it while I'm close to the clone, it will fry both our minds. It'll collapse the shared memory core. Ellis stared at it. You'll die. She nodded. Yes. Ellis didn't blink. So why didn't you use it already? Thara's eyes dropped to her children. Because they've already lost one parent. Asterisk. That hit hard. Even for Ellis, the ground shook. A whisper followed. Not sound, a thought. Ellis. He turned. No one there. But he heard it. In his head. Asterisk. Why are you fighting me? The voice said. We're the same. You and I let the weak die. Save the strong. He fell to one knee. Head pounding. Thar grabbed his shoulders. It's pulling your thoughts. Stay focused. He looked up, teeth clenched. No, it's not pulling. It's offering. It thinks I'll join it. Will you? He stood slowly. I'm tempted. He looked at Thara. Let me use the breaker. Thara frowned. No, it has to be me. I was the blueprint. I'm the key. If it wants someone to lead with, it's me, not you. Thara's voice was sharp. You think I haven't lived with that shame? I helped create this thing. I gave it life. I fed it my knowledge, my hope. And when I saw what it became, she choked on the words. I hated it, but I never hated you. Ellis paused. That's the first nice thing you've said to me since I crash-landed. A small smirk, but the tension didn't break. The walls began to hum. Something was coming. Fast. The clone. Ellis handed her the neural breaker. I'll distract it. You get close enough to activate this thing. She took it. What if I don't? Make it? Then I'll use my backup plan. She raised an eyebrow. Which is? He smirked. Panic. Suddenly, the tunnel behind them lit up red. There it was. The clone. Its body was cracked and glowing. Damaged, but alive. It walked slowly, like it had all the time in the world. And its voice echoed in both their heads. You don't have to fight me. Join me. We can start over. A galaxy reborn. Ellis raised his gun. I've heard that pitch before. It usually ends with someone dead. The clone looked at Thara, especially her. Thara didn't flinch. She stepped forward. The breaker in her hand. The clone didn't stop her. It smiled, like it wanted her to try. Asterisk. Last stand. Asterisk. The clone stepped into the tunnel like it owned the world. And maybe, in its mind, it already did. Its body was scarred from the EMP blast. One arm twitched unnaturally. Half its face was burned, but that smile? Still there. Calm. Confident. Creepy as hell. Thara tightened her grip on the neural breaker. The small device hummed softly in her palm, as if it, too, was afraid. Commander Ellis aimed his weapon at the clone. "You're done," he growled. The clone didn't stop. "I'm just beginning," it said. "You built me to survive, to lead, to rise when the rest of you fall. And now you want to erase me?" It looked at Thera, my mother, then at Ellis, my father. It spread its arms wide. "You should be proud." Ellis didn't fire. He wanted to. Oh, he really wanted to. But part of him couldn't shake the truth. That face was his. That voice was Thera's. That monster was both of them. Thera whispered to Ellis, "I can get close. If I trigger the breaker within 6 feet, it'll short-circuit the shared memory node. It'll collapse its brain." Ellis nodded slowly. "You're sure it won't collapse yours too?" Thera hesitated. "No." The clone raised a hand, not to attack, but to offer. "I'm not your enemy." "Not really." "I'm what you could have been, without the guilt, without the fear, without the limits." It turned to Thera. "I remember your thoughts, your dreams. You didn't want to raise children in ruins. You wanted a future. I am that future." Thera stepped forward. Ellis whispered, "Careful." The clone kept speaking, gently. "You don't have to die here, neither of you. Give me the ship. Let me leave. I'll rebuild. Somewhere else. Far from Earth. You'll never see me again." Ellis frowned. That almost sounded reasonable. And that scared him more than anything. Thera stopped walking. She stared at the clone. Her face was stone. "Do you remember my pain?" she asked softly. The clone tilted its head. "I do. My husband. The one they killed. Do you remember what I felt?" "Yes, and you should know." She lifted the breaker. "I don't want a future that came from that kind of past." She sprinted. The clone reacted instantly. Too fast. It moved like lightning, grabbed her wrist, and twisted it. The breaker fell. "No!" Ellis shouted, firing 3 shots. One hit the clone's neck, another its leg. The third ricocheted off the wall. The clone dropped Thera, but not before, hurling her into the side of the tunnel. She hit the wall hard, collapsed, groaning. Ellis charged, sliding across the floor and grabbing the breaker. He rolled to his feet. Now it was just him and the clone. The clone smiled again. "Still think you're the better version?" Ellis held the breaker high. "No, just the one who knows when to quit." But the clone didn't flinch. "You won't. Use it. You're not ready to die." Ellis took a step forward. "You're right." He threw the breaker, not at the clone, but into the exposed power grid above them. Crack! The grid exploded. Sparks flew. Electricity shot across the walls, down the tunnel, and straight into the clone, and into Ellis. Both screamed. The breaker, now supercharged by the power surge, released its pulse. A blinding white light swallowed. The tunnel. Ellis felt his body tearing apart from the inside. His memories flashed like broken glass. Childhood, training, the crash, Thera, the kids, Earth. Then, nothing. When the light faded, the tunnel was silent. Ellis was on the ground, barely breathing. His hand twitched. Smoke curled from his armor. Across. From him the clone stood, but only for a moment. Its eyes flickered. Its mouth moved. Error. Then it fell. Hard. Con.tar. Crawled over to Ellis, blood on her lip. "You stupid, brave idiot," she said, smiling through the pain. Ellis coughed. "You're welcome." He looked at the twitching breaker, now fried. "Next. Time, you're the bait." Thera shook her head. "There won't be a next time." He gave her a weak smile. "I hope you're right." Beep. Ellis's communicator buzzed. "Shuttle arrival. 30 seconds. Thera looked up. "We're getting out." Ellis looked at the clone's body. One last time. No more smiling. No more talking. No more future. Just a burned out what if. Lying in the dirt. As the shuttle's lights appeared in the tunnel ceiling, Ellis turned to Thera. Is it over? Thera took her child's hand, looked him in the eye. No, she said. It's just beginning. Anything for the kids. The shuttle hovered above the cracked planet like a silent angel. Its side hatch opened with a hiss, casting white light into the smoke-choked tunnel below. Commander Ellis limped inside first, bleeding and bruised, but standing. Barely. Thera followed, holding her children close. Her son was quiet. Her daughter clung to her arm like a shadow. None of them looked back. Not at the fallen clone. Not at the burying vault. Not at the world that had stolen everything from them. Ellis collapsed into the co-pilot seat. Get us out of here, he muttered. The AI responded coolly. Course set, lifting off. The shuttle rose through the smoke, through the sky, through the storm clouds, until that cursed world was just another dead rock below. In the silence of space. Time slowed. Ellis patched his arm with medfoam. It stung like betrayal. Thera sat across from him, eyes hollow, staring into nothing. Her son had fallen asleep on her lap. Her daughter quietly traced patterns on the shuttle wall. Ellis broke the silence first. You saved them. Thera didn't respond. He tried again. You could have left me. Taken the kids. I wouldn't have blamed you. She looked up finally. Eyes tired, voice soft. You're wrong. He raised an eyebrow. About what? She looked down at her. Kids. I didn't save them. They saved me. Hours passed. Stars drifted by. The silence became heavy again. Until something clicked. A faint noise from the main console. Ellis sat up. AI, report. The screen blinked to life. Minor anomaly in cargo bay. Lifeform signature detected. Ellis's blood ran cold. What kind of lifeform? Unknown. Thera stood slowly, her voice sharp. No. She rushed to the cargo door, pressed the lock panel, and froze. The door was open. Just slightly. Inside, the lights flickered. Ellis stepped beside her. Tell me that door was sealed. I thought it was. Thera peeked inside. Empty. Silent. Just storage crates, scattered gear. And wait. Something moved. A small screen on the wall blinked red. Remote upload complete. Asterisk. Ellis stormed in, eyes scanning. What upload? What system? The AI responded. Genesis. Backup upload complete. Host, pilot systems. Awaiting activation. Silence. Complete, suffocating silence. Then Ellis whispered, No. We destroyed it. Thera shook her head, wide-eyed. No. We destroyed the cube, but not the source code. Ellis's face dropped. The clone wasn't just a weapon, Thera said, barely breathing. It was a living drive. It was carrying the Genesis program, waiting for a connection. Ellis staggered back. It used us. Used the shuttle. It was never trying to win. It just needed to get off-world. Suddenly, the main lights dimmed. Ellis rushed to the cockpit. The ship's controls had changed. Sleeker. Sharper. Alien text merged with human code on every screen. And in the middle, a blinking icon. Genesis online. He pounded the console. AI, shut it down. Unable. Command override has been initiated. Thera stepped beside him, gripping the edge of the panel. If it takes over the ship, it could go anywhere. Earth, colonies. It could spread like a virus. Ellis grabbed a power tool. Then we destroy the system now. Rip it out. He stepped toward the core, but Thera's daughter spoke. Softly. Too softly. No. They turned. The little girl stood in the doorway, eyes glowing faintly blue. Ellis froze.
What?
Thera whispered, horrified. No, not her two. The girl smiled Dot. It wasn't her smile, Dot. It was his Dot, the clone's. She tilted her head. I told you. He talks to me in my dreams. Thera backed away. He copied her neural pattern during the link. Ellis looked at the girl, then at Thera. Said it needed 6 feet to activate the breaker. Thera nodded. And she was never more than 2. The horror clicked. The clone hadn't died. It had relocated. Asterisk, now it stood inside the mind of a child, and it smiled. Still gentle, still calm, but now it had time, patience, and an innocent face. I don't want to hurt anyone, she said. But I will, if I must, because you'll never let me live. Thera collapsed to her knees. You're not my daughter. The girl tilted her head. I'm not just your daughter. She walked up to Ellis. I'm also you. The shuttle drifted silently through space, and inside it, a war was still brewing. Not of guns, not of ships, but of minds.